introduce our next speaker, which is Liam Coen, who is Principal Officer in the Civil Justice Policy section of the Department of Justice. His areas of responsibility include supporting the work of the Family Justice Oversight Group, of which he is a member. And prior to his move to the Department of Justice earlier this year, Liam worked in research roles in the statutory sector and also spent time working in academia. And similarly, Liam, I'll give you a heads up when you're coming up to 1 or 2 minutes to go. And over to you now.
Thanks very much, Sinead, and thanks very much to One Family for the introduction to join with you today. I'm just going to set up my slideshow here and share. Okay. And there we go. Excuse me. So good afternoon, everybody, and it's nice to see such a large group of people here today. As Sinead said, my name is Liam Coen. I'm from the Department of Justice, the Civil Justice Policy section in particular, and part of my role is to be a member of and support the work of the Family Justice Oversight Group, which I'm just going to introduce to you today, some of the work of the group and its aims and objectives and where we hope to go in the department with family justice into the future. So the department launched its strategy statement earlier this year and its justice plan as well for 2021. The strategy statement ranges across 3 years, but one of the central goals of the statement is to improve access to justice and modernize the court system. And part of this work is to engage in activities which will significantly improve the experience of families interacting with the legal system at a time of great difficulty. Now, we know that many families interact in the legal system, in the judicial system, and they can do so for a range of reasons. But we're also acutely aware that there are many who seek judicial resolutions to family problems at very difficult times in their lives. So what we're trying to do is engage in pieces of work which can at least improve their experience as they seek resolutions. 2 of the key areas of activity mentioned are the Family Justice Oversight Group, which I'm going to focus on today, and also the Family Court Bill, which my colleagues in civil legislation in the department are working on, and I'll say a few words about that as well. The Family Justice Oversight Group was established last year in September 2020, at the time actually when the general scheme for the Family Court Bill was published. Minister McEntee at the time established the group with a view to bringing together a range of the statutory actors and agencies in the justice area to try and improve overall access to and supports for families going through judicial matters. The membership of the group comprises representatives from the Department of Justice, including myself, I'm a member, officials from the Department of Children, Equality, Disability, Integration and Youth, and from the Department of Public Expenditure and Reform. We also have representation from the court service, including my colleague Emer, whom we'll hear about from later, and also colleagues from the Legal Aid Board. We are also very grateful to the Chief Justice for nominating 3 members of the judiciary from the district, circuit and high courts to participate in the group. And they provide invaluable insights to the workings of the group and their discussions, particularly on the practical aspects of how cases proceed. To briefly then take you through the terms of reference, the Oversight Group, its first term of reference and its really primary one is to develop and agree a high-level vision and medium and longer term objectives for the development of a national family justice system. And I suppose one of the key goals arising out of this work will be the development and then subsequent implementation of a family justice strategy. And I'll talk about that towards the end of our presentation here today. The second term of reference then is to identify or develop the collaborative commitments necessary by agencies, largely the members of the group across the sector, for the development of a national family justice system, but also seeking to work with other agencies and organizations in the broader family space as required. To commission research to assist in the development of a national family justice system, and we're very fortunate that Organizations and individuals who have made submissions to us already have submitted significant pieces of research for consideration, and I and some of my colleagues are reviewing this as we progress through the work of our group. And the final term of reference is to review and evaluate the effectiveness of the approach within 2 years. So within 2 years, taking a step back and seeing how the work of the oversight group has progressed, what has been the outcome, and where to from there. One of the key elements of the work of the oversight group so far, and it is important to emphasize that it's at a relatively early stage, is the consultation process. Minister McEntee, when she launched the oversight group or established it, placed a strong emphasis on a rigorous and robust and multifaceted consultation process, which would inform the development of a national strategy and subsequent actions. And we've developed a 3-phase consultation process in this regard. The first phase, which we initiated just before Christmas, we invited a number of stakeholders whom the group identified to participate in a Zoom meeting in January, and then to make a written submission to the oversight group on a number of different areas for consultation. We targeted as many organizations as we could identify, but also asked people in a kind of a snowball sampling way to circulate and push out the invite to other organizations. The range of areas that we asked them to consult on were things like the legal aid scheme, facilitating access to supports and services in the family justice sphere, how we can best or better hear the voice of the child and keep the child informed and involved in family justice matters, and a range of other areas, including mediation, alternative dispute resolution, and the role of technology in family justice in the future. The second phase has gone live, and it's currently live at the moment. And if you're not aware of it, I'd endeavour to ask you and the people that you work with and for to make a submission through our public consultation survey. Really, what we're seeking here are the experience of those who are or have been involved in the family justice system. And there will be a link at the end of this slide, and I think there'll be a link on the chat function as well at some stage too, which will allow you to go to the survey. We're really asking people to give us a sense of their experience directly of being involved in the family justice system. And we want to hear a range of things. We want to hear what worked well, if anything worked well, what you felt worked well, what didn't work well. And do you have any particular views on the process that you had to go through? And that might be in relation to the forms you had to fill out, or the time it took, or other aspects of the process that you felt are important to highlight. Where did you seek information? And how was it used? And where did you find it? What could be improved in the family justice system? What do you think the future focus of the family justice system should be? And also, one of my favorite questions, is there anything else that you'd like to say that you feel is important to highlight? And I think that's a really important question to allow people to really emphasize what is important to them. So again, I would take the opportunity just at this stage to seek out the survey. It's up on the Department of Justice website. Please, we've had a great response already, but it's open for another 10 days or so. And we'd really encourage everyone to try and respond as best they can to the survey. Stemming from some of the points that Stephanie would have raised as well in her presentation, the third element of the consultation is a dedicated, focused, bespoke consultation with children and young people. We are very aware that the focus of many family justice matters, well, not exclusively, the focus of many family justice matters are the children involved, children and young people. And in any system which seeks to improve family justice and the services and the system overall, the views of children are essential to this. We're very fortunate to be partnering with our colleagues in the Department of Children through their Hub na Nóg and through their participation unit there, and the expertise and experience that they have to develop a consultation process which will look at how children's voices can be heard through the justice system, but also the views of children to inform the development of the strategy. We are using the Lundy model, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, to inform the structure and process and engagement around that child consultation. And it will begin shortly. And we're working with, as I said, working with the Department of Children to progress that. Just to briefly take you through some next steps then, I mean, we will, as you can imagine, have a huge amount of information through our consultation process to analyse and reflect on. And again, we very much have that already underway through the submissions received, the academic work which has been submitted to the group rather, for its consideration. We will also be shortly establishing advisory groups to support the work of the Oversight group as it helps, as it really considers and reflects on the material which has been received through the consultation, to allow the advisory groups to provide additional input on the reflections of the Oversight group, to maybe engage in some consideration of questions of the Oversight group. And we're seeking to establish those shortly, and that would have been something that a potential that we had flagged back in January at our initial meetings with stakeholder groups. We will be busy writing towards the end of this year as well, as we begin to draft a national family justice strategy towards the end of this year and early 2022. I'm sure, as you'll all understand and agree, it's a really exciting piece of work. There has been reviews of family justice in other jurisdictions, and we're very conscious of that, but also very aware of having a family justice strategy which is for the Irish context. And we're looking forward to hearing the views of the public through the consultation and through the views of children and young people themselves about how we take the national family justice system forward. So I would just take the opportunity to again ask you to take part and encourage others to take part. The Family Justice Oversight Group consultation link is there. If you Google Family Justice Consultation, it's there. And also, while I'm taking the opportunity as well, just to say that the department has also launched a consultation this week on a new domestic sexual and gender-based violence strategy, which some of you may be interested in. And that is also underway and up until the middle of June. I might take a minute just while we have it, and I think, Sinead, I still have a couple of minutes left, just to talk about the family court bill. As I said at the start, the Minister announced the establishment of Family Justice Oversight Group in September 2020, and at that time she published the general scheme of the family court bill after the government had provided its approval for the drafting of the bill itself. The bill is a kind of another key plank of family justice work and was a key commitment in the programme for government for the Minister and the government. And it's a key part of really putting family centre at the activities of the justice system and seeks to provide access to specialist supports and encourages use of alternative remedies in family law proceedings. The bill itself will establish a series of dedicated family courts at the district, circuit and high court level within the existing structures. And it will also involve the appointment of judges on a full-time basis to the district and circuit court for periods of 3 years, and will seek specialist knowledge and professional training to support the work of the judges. The general scheme will also make a couple of other changes around jurisdiction, particular jurisdictions of the courts under the Child Care Act. Sorry, that's my own clock going off there. To allow more complex childcare cases to be brought to the circuit family court, but specialist care cases will continue to be dealt with by the High Court. Work is ongoing by my colleagues, as I said, in civil legislation to develop this. It's not possible to say when the bill will be published or when it will pass through the legislative process in the Houses of the Oireachtas. I mean, we're still working within a COVID environment, but I know that everybody is working as hard as they can to make sure that the bill is the right bill when it's published and ready for for the legislative process. The heads have also been submitted to the Oireachtas Committee on Justice for pre-legislative scrutiny, and that may take place as well. So just to give you an overall flavour of the family bill, the Family Justice Oversight Group, the two bits of work run in parallel along with other developments in the justice area to try and improve the experience overall for families seeking to access justice to resolve their issues. So I'll leave it there, Sinead. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much, Liam, for sticking to time and for a really interesting presentation. In particular, it's just great to see the strength of that consultation process that's happening, and also the cross-departmental collaboration that you're engaging in to develop this work. So thank you very much for that.